Good morning. This is Robert Goodman here on Positive Stroke, staying clean, and I'm so happy that you're here, part of my recovery. And today we're going to talk about pain can lead to possibilities. How does pain can lead to possibilities? Well, the thing about pain is that we experience wrong actions. We do things that cause us harm. We make mistakes. And when we make a mistake and it causes harm and shame, then that's our situation is giving us a wake up call that the action that we're taking is not the right action we should take. So it leads us to possibilities of making sound decisions. It leads to possibilities of changing our behavior. Pain can lead us to making ourselves better, or it can have us stuck into tunnel vision where we expecting different results with the same behavior. I understand that my pain and my active addiction was an ongoing thing for 40 years because I choose not to change my behavior. I tried different methods expecting different results on continuing the path that I was doing. And it just kept me bringing me further down the rabbit hole of addiction, the pain that comes along with using and abusing drugs, the lifestyle, the drama, all that. So when I made a conscious decision to change my behavior, actually I gave up. The pain got won. The pain won. I continuously tried to change my method, expecting different results. But nothing changed until I found recovery. How can this pain become a possibility? Well, for one, recovery taught me to learn about the pain that I lived in for 40 years. So that meant that I had to deep dive on myself. I had to look at myself honestly and openly, not for who I want to be, not who I present myself to be, but the person I truly am. Mistakes, failures, faults, and all. When I looked at myself in this manner, I realized that I am a faulty person. How can I make my life better? How can I make my life better? Well, recovery taught me that I must learn from my mistakes. Understanding why I did what I did when I did, to understand the frame of mind that I was looking at the problem at the time that I made that decision. And that's doing a deep dive on self. I found out that in order for me to work recovery and it worked for me is that I had to be honest and open with the information and the knowledge of looking back at myself and my active addiction. I had to truly look at myself the way I truly was, not who I wanted to be, not who I present myself to be, not the facade that I'm trying to show the world, but the true person that I am. And when I looked at myself in this manner, I didn't like who I was because I realized just how faulty and how much damage I did to myself in my active addiction for 40 years. When I realized that and looked at myself honestly and in the right way, not the way I present myself to be, not the way I want people to think that I am, or how I'm trying to live this persona of myself, but I looked at truly who I was. And that's when change was possible. I found out that in my active addiction, I always had excuses for not doing what I need to do for self. I always had a good reason not to do what I needed to do for myself. It sounded good, but as I look back onto my past and in my active addiction, the excuses that I was making for myself for not doing what I need to do was just pure laziness for not following through because it was going to take work and I choose not to do the work. So I'd rather have an excuse so I don't have to do the work that I need to do for myself. Pain caused me to have possibilities to make myself better, to have an open mind. And I must have an open mind because that's the only way I can learn by allowing information to come into my mind and learn from it. But if I act like I know everything, that my way is law, then Robert has tunnel vision and he doesn't have an open mind. And I learned something. When you act in a tunnel vision, people tend to not comment. They just let you have your tunnel vision because they don't want to deal with the drama that comes along with it. So they allow you to be who you are, but they're not really paying attention to what you're saying because they know this is your method all the time. But you don't have an open mind. You're presenting what you feel is the truth, and you see nothing else but what you see. So you cannot have a conversation or a dialogue to express point of views, to listen. As soon as you hear something that's not agreeable with your thought process or what you believe, you shut down, block out, and the tunnel vision becomes active. I learned that my pain became my possibilities because when I realized that I duped myself for 40 years, I conned myself for 40 years, that when I realized that, that gave me the ability to have an open mind and to be humble. Another thing, pain taught me to be humble because of the mistakes I've made. And I realized if I'm not humble, then I have no compassion for others. If I'm not humble, then I can't learn because I don't have an open mind. By me understanding that Robert is his worst enemy because he duped himself for 40 years, then I know that I need to pay attention to my actions, my deeds, and my thought process. Recovery took me from the fire into a life far beyond my dreams. And the reason why is because it allowed me to work on self and heal from the pains of addiction, the heal of the trauma of my past, the heal of the mistakes that Robert has made, to heal from the things that other people have done to me. I was allowed to heal. And when I'm allowed to heal, I can grow. I can learn. My pain of my mistakes for 40 years taught me that you don't know everything. And everybody in this world don't know everything. We only perceive what we know by the knowledge that we have, that we express to others, that we feel that's important to the way we should live our lives. But in recovery, I learned that I didn't get better. I didn't do recovery until I chose to do what I need to do for self. And that took work, dedication, and an honest mind to change. The interesting thing is that the people, when I had tunnel vision, and no matter what, and I'll be totally wrong about the situation, but I have tunnel vision. I can see nothing else. That I go and I do my tunnel vision and I express my tunnel vision and I live my tunnel vision and I make mistakes. And the mistakes constantly flow. And then I'm justifying the mistakes by other reasoning that I put into the equation. So I can continue on this tunnel path of looking at things. But recovery taught me that I need to live life on life's terms. That means I have to see things for what they are, not what I would like them to be. I realized in my recovery that I don't get better unless I do the work. I don't, things don't get done unless Robert get them done. So I have to do what I need to do to get things done. Yes, it's easy to, in my addiction, I had excuses I gave an excuse for everything. But in recovery, it teaches you to do the next right thing, to do the next right thing, to live life on life's terms, to do the next right thing. And when I started this method, it was strange, but I would do it. And surprisingly, my life got better. I would continue to do the next right thing. And I get continue to do the next right thing until it was without thinking that I created a habit that was generally the best thing for me to do was to do the next right thing, regardless of how I felt, but to do it. And my life got better. My situation got better. But the interesting thing is that just because you are doing the next right thing, you are living life on life's terms, doesn't mean that everybody else is. There comes the point where, in the program of recovery we share, we have no control over people, places, or things. So when people choose to do what they do, act the way they act, that is totally on them, not you. Their decision, their choice, they have their reason for doing it. And it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with what they are doing. So when I know this and I realize this and I live this, then I just keep doing the next right thing. And I protect myself from going back down the rabbit hole. I open myself up to possibilities. And the interesting thing is, I start to grow. I start to grow because I am consistent on doing what I'm doing. I have not changed. I've been working the program of recovery, living life on life's terms, doing the next right thing, and my life is getting better. It's amazing how I started this YouTube channel, Positive Stroke Staying Clean, and how it has grown over the years, and how I have been in contact with so many people about recovery, uh, living life on life's terms, uh, keeping an open mind, uh, just so much blessings that Positive Stroke Staying Clean has given me with the connection with others in recovery. And the funny thing is that we all work hard on living our best lives. We go out of our way to help another recovering addict because we understand what addiction is all about. We lived it. We understand the pain. We felt it. We know. And we've come out of active addiction into recovery. It's not an easy feat. It's a very, very hard road to carry. It's hard. But once we get on this road and we stay on this road of recovery, our lives get better. We start to see things that we did not see before. We start to enjoy things that we did not enjoy before. We become productive persons of society. People are want to be around us. And the interesting thing is humble enough to extend a hand to someone suffering and pull them up just like someone pulled us up into recovery. Us recovering addicts, we know about excuses because in our addiction, I did a lot of excusing. Excuse this, reason why I didn't do this, the reason why I didn't do that, the reason why I always had an excuse for everything. But in my recovery, I do what I need to do because that's who I am. I want recovery. I want to keep it. I want to keep what I worked so hard to get. I want to keep my recovery. And the way I keep my recovery is living life on life's terms, doing the next right thing, not having excuses for my actions and deeds. So I hope that what I shared today, pain can lead to possibilities if we're willing to change our behavior. It's entirely up to us. I've changed my behavior. My life has gotten better. And through the grace of God, I'm allowed to share my strength and hopes with you. I want to thank you for being a part of my recovery because I see a lot of information about people in recovery and what they're doing. And I go on Facebook and I have like four platforms on Facebook and I read their information and it's it gives me the strength and the power to stay clean another day behind another recovering addict sharing their strength and hopes with me. This is what keeps me clean and sober. This is what keeps me on the path that I am on. And I stop making excuses. I just do what I need to do, whether I like it or not. This is Robert Goodman for Positive Stroke, staying clean and wishing you a great day. It's Friday. And I hope you have a great Friday. It's the weekend. And remember, you're the most important person to yourself. So be good to yourself. And remember, be like me. I'm going to be bigger than my excuses. So I'm going to do the work today. Are you going to be bigger than your excuses and do your work today? Something to think about. Have a great day.